Public Square sits 22 floors above the street, yet still counts as ground level. For roughly 35 million residents, that contradiction is only the first clue. Here, steep ridges force daily life into layers. Roads cross rooftops, rail lines enter towers, stepped streets drop toward two major rivers, while bridges and interchanges carry traffic where a flat grid cannot fit. I admire that nerve, but the harder question is whether engineering this dense remains clear, comfortable, and useful in ordinary life. In this video, we examine how Chongqing turns brutal topography into working infrastructure, and what China's larger projects reveal about whether extreme scale serves the people within it. This city, whose name means double celebration, carries a past shaped by rock shelters, river labor, and repeated rebuilding. Nearly 9 centuries ago, Zhao Dun rose first to Prince of Gong, and then to Emperor within 1 year. Chongqing marked both advancements. The court story is memorable, but the settlement was already ancient. The region was tied to the Ba state and carried other names, including Jiangzhou, Yuzhou, and Gongzhou. Above the Yangtze and Jialing confluence, the city held valuable routes for trade and defense. Steep approaches forced gates, docks, stairs, and compact neighborhoods into the hillside. That same terrain later became protection. During the Second Sino-Japanese War, Chongqing served as China's wartime capital, while residents used chambers cut into rock through years of danger from the air. Tunnel entrances, memorials, photographs, and museum collections hold a harder chronology than the cheerful name. They show residents adapting the mountain under pressure, then rebuilding around what remained. Tourism can shrink history into decorative roofs and one polished court anecdote. Stronger evidence survives in streets, foundations, shelters, archives, and river workers' memories. The cheerful name survives beside a harder duty: keep shelters, river labor, and rebuilding in public memory rather than package the past as visitor decoration. A city built on slopes became a global spectacle before most viewers understood how it worked. One short drew around 30 million views, with reposts across China, Russia, the United States, India, and elsewhere. Its creator estimates 600 to 700 million in total. The scale is impressive, but viral images reward contradiction. A train entering an occupied building, a road meeting an upper floor, a route emerging from a tunnel high above a valley. Chongqing produces those images because the Yangtze and Jialing meet between steep banks. The center has little room to spread, so it stacks movement, housing, and commerce. That famous figure of around 35 million also needs context. The municipality spans dense districts, smaller cities, mountains, farmland, and rural communities. Roughly 3 years later, the stronger test is ordinary: finding an entrance, changing elevation, boarding transit, crossing a river, and entering a nighttime crowd. Across 2 days, those tasks expose whether the celebrated 8D city is practical engineering or merely a collection of perfect camera angles. What stands out is Chongqing's power to seize global attention. What matters more is whether its vertical spectacle keeps entrances, transfers, and crossings usable every day. The skyline becomes clearest at night just as the streets beneath it become hardest to use. Around Hongya Cave, the packed gathering stretches roughly half a kilometer to a kilometer, and access toward the river drops about 12 floors. Night reveals the mountain's stacked plan. Roads, terraces, restaurants, and elevated walks rise between river and towers instead of spreading across a flat grid. Hongya Cave concentrates that pressure. Its design recalls Chongqing's traditional stilt houses, but it functions as a multi-level complex of food stalls, shops, balconies, escalators, and viewpoints. That design creates the celebrated view, then funnels people into limited stairs, lifts, crossings, pavements, and photography positions. When movement nearly stops, visual scale becomes a street-level burden. Vendors gain a powerful evening market, but the crowd multiplies queues, rubbish, deliveries, and closing time pressure. Cleaners, police, security teams, transit staff, and food crews carry that load. The central task is keeping a route open. Emergency access, road crossings, and ordinary movement cannot vanish because every balcony becomes a viewpoint. Find the illuminated skyline compelling, but when half a kilometer of street nearly locks in place, Chongqing's spectacle has exceeded human comfort. Public railway crosses the middle of a 19-story building, yet the homes above do not carry its full force. At Liziba, the station occupies the 6th through 8th floors, with shops below and residences rising overhead. The spectacle looks improvised, but station and tower were designed together with separate primary structures. That separation matters. Train loads and vibration are not simply pushed into the residential floors. Rubber-tired monorail vehicles, resilient track parts, enclosed station space, and damping measures cut noise and transmitted movement. The mountain explains the choice. A straddle beam monorail can take tighter curves and steeper gradients than many conventional, heavy rail lines, while its elevated guideway claims little ground. This is not an engineering exhibit frozen for photographs. Trains can arrive about every 2 minutes, carrying commuters between platforms, hillside roads, shops, and residential entrances. Below, visitors time pictures as each train appears to enter an open mouth. Staff must separate that crowd from passengers, while maintenance crews inspect guideways, switches, doors, and vibration controls. Liziba makes one narrow slope serve transport, commerce, tourism, and homes. Its quietest engineering is also its most intimate test. What residents hear and feel after the photographers leave. At the river's edge, lanes built for feet confront towers built at metropolitan scale. Beyond the Old Town, Asia's longest river, the Yangtze, runs roughly 6,300 kilometers, while the Crystal at Raffles City links 4 high-rises near their tops. Stepped lanes, tiled roofs, timber details, and narrow shop fronts preserve movement patterns formed before wide roads, elevators, and high-rise podiums. Porters once carried freight from boats through these routes. Today, snack shops, photographers, staged locations, and visitors in historical-style clothing drive a newer tourism economy. That economy can fund restoration and keep the district busy. It can also cover old surfaces with commercial signs, reconstructed finishes, and crowds. Below, the Yangtze once tied the Sichuan Basin to settlements downstream, despite rapids, fog, seasonal water changes, and steep banks. The waterfront now carries expressways, bridges, cruise vessels, and towers. Raffles City sharpens the pressure at Kuixinglou. Several towers rise from one shared base, placing megaproject scale directly beside the old district. The contrast keeps Chongqing's old roots visible beside its newest towers. If the skyline turns them into decorative foreground, proximity becomes a form of erasure. What looks like street level sits roughly 22 floors above another street. Buses stop beside restaurants, apartment doors, and a public square at the upper level, while the same slope falls toward the lower city. That is no trick. In central Chongqing, steep mountains and scarce flat land force usable ground to climb through buildings. One structure can meet a downhill entrance at its first floor, then meet an uphill road or plaza many stories higher. The square becomes roof, footpath, gathering place, and neighborhood street at once. Retaining walls hold cut slopes, bridges join podiums, elevators and stairs replace long detours. This is engineering at its most audacious. It recovers public land without flattening the mountain. Yet the victory creates a new burden. Two-dimensional map can deliver the correct coordinates and still lead to the wrong elevation. Residents navigate through named gates, landmarks, station exits, and familiar vertical transfers. Daily reliability reaches beyond orientation. Deliveries, wheelchair routes, drainage, fire access, and elevator breakdowns all test whether the roof can truly behave like a street. The square makes impossible ground useful. A failed lift or unreadable transfer can turn that recovered street back into an obstacle. One steel arch stacks a highway over a railway, then leaves the upper Yangtze open beneath both. Opened in 2009, Kuixinglou Bridge stretches more than 550 meters between its main supports, keeping the river's central navigation channel broadly open. That span is not an ornament. The arch transfers immense loads toward supports at the banks, while vertical hangars hold two working decks inside the steel frame. Cars and buses take the upper level. Trains and more road traffic run below, while cargo and passenger vessels pass underneath. Steep banks made separate crossings and approach roads difficult to fit. Chongqing answered by compressing 3 transport networks into one structure rather than consuming scarce flat ground. This is where the achievement becomes uneasy. A closure, rail repair, severe weather, or a badly managed collision can put several flows under pressure at once. Keeping them apart demands constant discipline. Crews inspect hangars, bearings, joints, rails, drains, and protective coatings exposed to river moisture and traffic pollution. From a distance, the red arch gives Chongqing an unmistakable profile. In daily use, its power rests on details most commuters never see. The arch conquers water, steep land, and congestion at once. Its 2 decks also concentrate the consequences of any lapse in maintenance. Wooden towers stayed above a rising river only by becoming the center of a new island. Shibaozhai climbs 12 stories beside a steep Yangtze outcrop, while a modern embankment now protects its base from the Three Gorges Reservoir. The Qing-era pavilion had 9 levels. 3 came later. Before it, chains fixed to the rock formed an exposed route to the summit temple. Its timber frame did more than mark the cliff. Narrow stairs and sheltered stages turned that difficult ascent into a controlled passage. As reservoir waters rose, engineers enclosed the base with flood defenses and linked the isolated monument to the riverbank by bridge. That prevented direct inundation, but cut the pagoda away from part of its former settlement landscape. Protection brought new moisture, drainage, and erosion pressures. Preservation is physical work, checking timber, insects, roof leaks, crowd loads, and movement in the embankment. Boat tourism brings revenue, yet concentrates traffic on narrow historic stairs. Shibaozhai survives through a difficult bargain. Modern defenses hold back the reservoir, while tourism and damp place new pressure on the timber they protect. A road junction with 5 levels and roughly 20 ramps solves a shortage of land by making direction vertical. Huangjuewan Interchange stacks traffic above Chongqing's Nan'an area, where steep slopes, established neighborhoods, tunnels, bridges, and expressways leave little room to spread outward. The concrete knot is highly ordered. Each ramp separates a turning movement that would otherwise collide with another stream on flatter ground. Roads climb, descend, cross, and vanish into tunnels. 2 routes may sit close together on a map yet remain several levels apart. That geometry removes some direct conflicts, but it transfers pressure into the vehicle. Lane choice must happen early, with signs, lighting, merge distance, and navigation software all working together. Miss one exit, and the network may impose a long diversion before offering another approach. Tight curves also force lower speeds than the sweeping structure suggests. The work continues below the lanes. Drains clear intense rain, retaining walls hold cut slopes, and inspection paths reach bearings, joints, barriers, and concrete surfaces. Huangjuewan turns mountainous space into usable direction. For an ordinary driver, that achievement is measured in the seconds available to choose the right lane. Beyond Chongqing, the human-scale test moves inside individual megaprojects. Beijing's tallest building borrows its shape from an ancient ritual vessel. At nearly 530 meters and more than 100 floors, China Zun breaks sharply with the capital's traditionally low horizontal profile. The tower widens at its base and crown, then tightens through the middle. The base spreads immense loads into the foundation. The upper flare adds valuable floor area near the summit. That elegance conceals relentless engineering. Wind sway, seismic movement, water pressure, fire separation, refuge floors, facade access, and elevator zoning must be controlled every working day. The hardest test, however, begins where the tower meets the pavement. At morning and evening peaks, thousands of workers funnel through metro links, security checks, lift lobbies, food outlets, service roads, and surrounding walkways. Separate routes keep deliveries and maintenance crews from choking office movement. But elevators can move people vertically. They cannot clear a crowded street or create a useful public space. Its silhouette gives Beijing a reference point, yet symbolism carries no commuters, deliveries, or lunch hour crowds. China Zun's audacity is visible from across Beijing. Whether it earns its place is decided in lift lobbies, metro links, and the pavement below. Olympic monuments often become vast shells after the crowds leave. The Bird's Nest held roughly 91,000 spectators in 2008. Its harder test began after the closing ceremony. Its interlocking steel is not decoration, wrapped around a conventional arena. Major members support the bowl and roof zone, while secondary pieces hide stairs, drainage, and other working parts. Its irregular lattice created a national image, but image was only the first test. Coatings, joints, seats, weather barriers, toilets, and crowd routes still demand inspection. On major event nights, tens of thousands must pass through transport checks and controlled exits without crowd routes seizing up. On quiet days, the pressure reverses. The vast enclosure still needs a reason to open. Tours, concerts, sports programs, and seasonal attractions provide that second life. They spread the cost and public value beyond a calendar of occasional matches. Beijing became the first city to stage both Summer and Winter Olympic Games, and this stadium carried ceremonies for both. Its scale is justified not by opening night impact, but by the difficult second life that follows. At Baihetan, engineering no longer reorganizes a street or building, it reorganizes a river. The nearly 300-meter arch pushes reservoir pressure into the Jinsha Canyon walls between Sichuan and Yunnan, while 16 generators provide 16 gigawatts of installed capacity. Water enters high intakes, drops through huge conduits, turns turbines in underground powerhouses, then returns downstream. Transmission lines carry that output east toward major demand centers. That chain looks direct, operating it is not. Crews must control seasonal floods, sediment, spillway flows, turbine vibration, and temperature stress inside the concrete. Hydropower generates electricity without burning fuel at the plant, but the reservoir changes the river that powers it. Land is inundated, communities relocate, and fish habitat, sediment movement, and downstream flows change. The engineering therefore extends far beyond the arch. Monitoring follows reservoir slopes, seismic activity, water quality, ecosystems, and resettlement outcomes for years. Baihetan reached full operation in the early 2020s, but completion did not end the work. Maintenance and power dispatch now bind this canyon to cities far away. The achievement is immense, yet the effects reach far beyond electricity. Respect Baihetan's extraordinary capability, but intervention at this scale cannot be judged by awe alone. broadcast tower 600 meters high narrows at the middle, then turns its steel skeleton into a nightly light show. Across the Pearl River from Guangzhou's business district, Canton Tower combines broadcasting, observation, dining, events, and attractions in one frame. Its narrow waist is not cosmetic. Two elliptical rings rotate against each other, while sloping columns and horizontal bands drive wind and gravity loads toward the base. The exposed lattice must take humidity, lightning, strong wind, and typhoon conditions. Weather can close the highest attractions and make maintenance harder. After dark, programmable LEDs turn the structure into a civic signal reflected in the river. The same lights can mark festivals and public events. But spectacle carries a workload: electricity, control equipment, replacement access, and constant choices about brightness in an already illuminated skyline. Most people see the tower from the riverside, not its ticketed upper levels. Its public value also rests on reliable broadcasting, metro access, ticket prices, and paths that work during closures. The frame makes heavy structural work appear light. At river level, reliable broadcasting, affordable access, and usable paths outlast the nightly performance. Horizontal distance becomes a vertical journey inside this tower, and every trip depends on a machine. At 632 meters, Shanghai Tower is China's tallest building, standing beside the Jinmao Tower and Shanghai World Financial Center. Its rounded triangular floor plate rotates as it climbs. Wind tunnel testing shaped that twist to cut wind loads compared with a more abrupt rectangular tower, reducing the force carried by the structure. Second glass skin wraps the occupied tower, forming tall atriums between the two envelopes. Inside, 9 stacked zones combine offices, hotel rooms, shops, shared areas, sky lobbies, and observation space. This is the vertical city promise: concentrate many parts of urban life without consuming more ground. But height replaces the ordinary street with lift queues, transfers, security checks, and journeys measured in hundreds of meters. The double facade can buffer weather and create communal space, yet it multiplies glass, seals, vents, cleaning tracks, and climate equipment. Scale solves one problem by enlarging maintenance. At the base, workers, guests, tourists, and deliveries converge on metro passages. Shanghai Tower's 632 meters are ultimately experienced as queues, transfers, and walking time. Lifts and podium decide whether its vertical city feels connected. A building shaped by winter must still work when that same winter strains every joint, door, and path. Completed in 2015 on Harbin Cultural Island, near the Songhua River, the Opera House seats roughly 1,600 people in its main theater and 400 in its smaller hall. Mad architects shaped the pale aluminum shell into broad curves, tuned to Harbin's snow and wind. It does not merely resemble winter, it must withstand winter. Wind-driven snow can block routes, ice, freeze-thaw cycles, and severe temperature changes, test cladding joints, roof drainage, doors, and walking surfaces. Staff must clear paths and close sculpted slopes when secure footing disappears. A public roof route has value only while access remains controlled and dependable. Inside, warm timber around the main auditorium helps direct acoustic reflections, while broad glazing admits low northern light and frames water, reeds, and seasonal change. Yet performance depends on spaces the exterior cannot advertise. Loading docks, rehearsal rooms, backstage corridors, stage machinery, and controlled entrances. Sculpture must leave those working routes clear. Its landscape fit is visible in a glance. Winter reliability is proved one cleared path, sealed joint, and on-time performance at a time. Generating renewable power is only half the system. The grid must carry it. Western Gansu proved the gap. Strong winds and open ground enabled vast construction, while coastal demand sat far beyond local transmission capacity. The Jiuquan Wind Power Base expanded in large phases from the late 2000s across the Hexi Corridor. Long rows spread across broad, dry ground, extending the project far beyond each foundation. Inside each nacelle, rotating equipment converts wind into electricity. Collection cables feed substations. Then long-distance lines must move the output toward major consumers. Early expansion exposed the weak link. At times, local demand and export capacity could not absorb available generation, so turbines reduced output. More ultra-high voltage links, better forecasting, storage, and tighter grid coordination have worked against that mismatch. The lesson is blunt. Capacity on paper is not electricity delivered. The human burden stretches across long access roads. Technicians inspect blades, gearboxes, towers, wiring, and components worn by dust. Winter cold and distance can delay repairs. Wide spacing still pushes roads and machinery across grazing land and fragile desert edge ecosystems. Gansu turns an energy target into a systems lesson. Turbines, transmission, storage, repair access, and land planning must advance together. Much of Beijing's monumental performing arts center is buried underground, and its audience arrives beneath a lake. Opened in 2007, the titanium and glass ellipsoid contains separate halls for opera, concerts, drama, and smaller performances. Designed by Paul Andreu, the building uses one smooth outer shell to enclose several complex venues. Each hall needs distinct acoustics, seating, backstage routes, and equipment. The entrance rejects the obvious solution. Audiences descend through a passage below the water, where a transparent section exposes the lake overhead before the route opens into a shared foyer. That sequence controls arrival, but it also creates a permanent engineering burden. Waterproofing, cleaning, temperature control, and lake maintenance must protect the public space below. Placing much of the center underground reduces its apparent mass beside Tiananmen Square and the Great Hall of the People. The lake adds distance, preventing a huge institution from presenting a blunt wall to the city. But elegance does not guarantee public access. Ticket prices, tours, youth programs, transport links, performances, and a welcoming entrance decide whether the building serves the public or only formal occasions. The underwater threshold is elegant. Ticketing, programming, transport, and welcome determine how public it really is. Moving wind power offshore frees scarce urban land, then places every turbine inside a harder world of salt, waves, and typhoons. At Rudong, arrays stretch from Jiangsu's intertidal flats into the Yellow Sea, close to the electricity-hungry Yangtze River Delta. That proximity matters. Unlike Western wind bases, Rudong stands near major consumers while offshore winds face fewer land barriers. Building there requires jack-up vessels or other marine platforms to drive foundations and lift towers, nacelles, and blades into place. Later arrays moved farther offshore as turbines and installation capability grew. Subsea cables gather the output, feed offshore substations, and carry power through export cables to the onshore grid. Operation is an endurance test. Salt water corrodes metal, waves, tidal currents, fog, lightning, and typhoons press every exposed component. Service crews wait for safe weather, transfer from moving vessels, and inspect blades, foundations, cable protection, and seabed scour. A fault may keep a turbine offline because technicians simply cannot reach it. The sea is not empty space. Cable routes and turbine spacing meet fishing grounds, shipping, sediment movement, tidal habitat, and migratory bird routes. See real promise, but every new turbine must be planned around crews, fishing grounds, shipping, and coastal habitat. Border City, once associated with factories and ports, now pushes a financial tower nearly 600 meters into typhoon winds. Completed in 2017, Ping'an Finance Center rises above Fuxian as one of the world's tallest buildings. The taper cuts the area exposed to wind as the tower climbs. Stainless steel corner piers stiffen the narrow frame against recurring coastal loads. Height is only the visible challenge. Elevators must be zoned, water forced upward, and emergency safeguards built through a structure packed with offices and services. Below Fuxian's metro, rail, roads, and underground walkways feed thousands of employees into security lines, lift transfers, deliveries, and lunch hour surges. That is where the symbol meets its test. Packing jobs into one site also packs in transport demand, energy use, maintenance, and service labor. Shenzhen made this leap after becoming one of China's first special economic zones in 1980. Within decades, industry, technology, and finance redrew the city. Shenzhen's speed is written into the skyline. The bill arrives below in transport capacity, service labor, and the daily surge the district must absorb. Two occupied towers rise separately, then lock together in the sky at about 300 meters. The Gate of the Orient binds offices, homes, a hotel, shops, and service floors into one enormous arch. That upper connection creates valuable floor area, but it also forces both legs to behave as one structure. Wind, gravity, heat, and uneven movement all press on the joint where the towers meet. Engineers need controlled flexibility, enough movement to release stress, but not enough to unsettle occupants or strain the bridge above. Every gust tests that joint. Across Jinji Lake, the opening frames Suzhou's expanding business district, yet the public supplied its own meaning. comparing the outline to a giant pair of trousers. Single silhouette now identifies modern Suzhou beside a historic city of canals, gardens, walls, and narrow lanes. That contrast is deliberate and hard to ignore. At rush hour, workers and residents still need clear entrances, manageable crossings, direct metro links, and a usable waterfront beneath the broad podium. Monumental form settles nothing at street level. Suzhou gains an instant skyline emblem. Its daily value remains less certain in the entrances, crossings, metro links, and waterfront beneath it. One roof in Chengdu holds enough functions to imitate a city, yet that convenience can pull daily life away from public streets. The New Century Global Center runs roughly 500 meters long, 400 wide, and 100 high, enclosing nearly 2 million square meters of floor area. Shopping, offices, hotels, restaurants, cinemas, conference halls, an ice rink, and a vast indoor water park sit within that shell. Visitors can spend an entire day without leaving. The artificial beach goes further. A huge screen and controlled lighting create an outdoor horizon without outdoor weather. That comfort is not passive. Ventilation, cooling, lighting, water treatment, cleaning, security, deliveries, and waste removal must run continuously. Long internal distances turn entrances, escalators, maps, and atriums into a private street network. On busy days, leisure queues can collide with ordinary retail movement. The metro connects this enclosure to Chengdu's expanding southern districts, yet the same convenience can draw foot traffic away from sidewalks and smaller businesses beyond its doors. The engineering is formidable, but closeness is not the amount that fits beneath one roof. It is the quality of the boundary where controlled interior meets public city. At roughly 2,300 meters, one railway station is not the end of a climb, but the start of a far harder one. Xining is the eastern starting point of the Qinghai-Tibet Railway toward Lhasa, where specially adapted trains support passengers as the route reaches higher terrain. The expanded station reopened in 2014 with larger platforms, waiting halls, and transfer capacity. It serves conventional trains and the Lanzhou-Xinjiang high-speed corridor. Regional commuters, tourists, migrant workers, families, and long-distance passengers enter the same timed sequence of security checks, gates, lifts, and boarding calls. During major holidays, luggage and family groups can fill the concourses fast. Seats, toilets, food counters, signs, and accessible routes then carry the pressure. Staff guide each boarding wave, handle delays, clean trains, and keep platforms clear until the correct service is called. After departure, the burden changes. Oxygen equipment and adapted rolling stock support passengers as trains push into remote, higher terrain across the plateau. For a family carrying luggage, Xining's Continental Reach contracts to a few immediate needs: a seat, a readable sign, a clear route, and a calm transfer. An opera house built from sharp angles must still move a crowd with absolute clarity. Its main auditorium holds about 1,800 people, while the smaller performance space adds roughly 400 seats. Beside the Pearl River, Gwangju Opera House gives the new central district a cultural anchor among offices and towers. Its two faceted volumes reject a single ceremonial front, allowing several approaches and informal gathering areas before and after performances. Inside, granite, glass, exposed concrete, and triangular geometry continue through ramps, stairs, bridges, and angled walls. These routes create drama, but signs and accessible paths must remain unmistakable. The public shell is only half the machine. Behind it, scenery, instruments, performers, crews, and catering supplies need controlled loading routes that do not cross the arriving audience. Complex geometry also multiplies practical pressure. Drainage, facade seals, and custom replacement parts must endure the humid Pearl River climate. Architecture can impress before a note, then fail if cues stall. Seat finding slows, toilet lines swell, or exits become unclear. Reliable acoustics and comfortable movement carry the building's real weight. We admire its force, but its angular spaces still leave everyday comfort unresolved. One expressway crosses a river more than half a kilometer below its wheels. Opened in 2016, the Baipanjiang Bridge carries the G56 between Guizhou and Yunnan, more than 560 meters above the river, across a main span of about 700 meters. The height was not manufactured for spectacle. The canyon created it, forcing engineers either to surrender altitude or carry the expressway across empty space. Older mountain roads had to descend through repeated bends, cross near river level, then climb again. That added time and exposed vehicles to fog, poor weather, and unstable slopes. This bridge holds the route high. Freight and passenger traffic can move directly between provinces without paying for the canyon in every turn and climb. Construction demanded towers on steep slopes, tight delivery areas, and exact surveying across the gorge. Deck sections had to meet high above the valley as mountain winds shifted direction. Barriers hide much of the drop, making an open crossing seem routine. Maintenance never is. Crews inspect cables, joints, drainage, towers, pavement, and unstable slopes. 500 meters of air can disappear behind a barrier. The need for inspection, repair, and restraint never does. Road 55 kilometers long crosses open sea, then disappears beneath it. Opened in 2018, the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge combines long spans, 2 artificial islands, and nearly 7 kilometers of undersea tunnel. The tunnel is not an engineering flourish. It drops the roadway beneath a major shipping channel, leaving large vessels a clear route to upstream ports. That choice turns the estuary into a 3-dimensional transport corridor, ships above the tube, traffic inside it, and elevated roadway beyond the islands. But concrete is only half the crossing. Hong Kong and Macau drive on the left, mainland China drives on the right. while 3 jurisdictions impose separate checkpoints, permits, insurance rules, and customs procedures. For many passengers, the bridge therefore begins at a terminal, not over the water. Border time, shuttle links, tolls, and freight rules decide whether 55 kilometers of engineering actually save a journey. The sea keeps testing that promise. Typhoons, waves, and salt corrode and strain exposed steel and joints, forcing specialized crews to monitor ventilation, emergency passages, corrosion protection, and sections difficult to reach. Since 55 kilometers count for little, if border time erases the gain or the estuary, bears an unmanageable cost. Shanghai's largest ships reach deep water only after the port leaves the mainland behind. Yangshan was built on offshore islands because shallow, sediment-heavy approaches near the Yangtze estuary restrict the biggest container vessels. The Donghai Bridge links those terminals across more than 30 kilometers of open water. At the quay, cranes lift standardized boxes from ships onto terminal vehicles. Each container is identified, assigned a yard position, then retrieved for a truck, feeder vessel, or another transfer. Speed depends on order. One misplaced box can force several others to move before a vessel can depart, turning a small error into lost time across the chain. Newer areas use remote cranes and automated guided vehicles to cut repetitive driving inside the yard, yet automation shifts work rather than erasing it. Planners sequence cargo, technicians maintain sensors and batteries, operators supervise remote moves, while inspectors and response teams handle damaged cargo, software faults, and sudden disruption. Offshore, fog, strong winds, typhoons, and salt can interrupt movement and corrode equipment. Mechanical speed rests on dredging, power, worker transport, and maintenance hidden by every container count. Every efficient container movement carries quieter costs in coastline, power, labor, dredging, and maintenance. Library can attract so much attention that its greatest success begins to threaten its basic purpose. Opened in 2017, Tianjin Binhai Library wraps several levels around a luminous spherical auditorium known as the Eye. White terraces sweep across walls and ceiling, joining stairs, seats, rails, and shelf-like bands into one continuous public room. The center stays clear, while movement across the levels remains visible. But the famous image hides an important limit. Many upper bands sit beyond reach, and some distant surfaces carry printed book imagery rather than usable shelves. The working library sits farther back, where collections, service desks, study areas, and quieter reading rooms handle the less spectacular work of sustained attention. That division creates pressure every day. Photography, conversation, tour groups, and cues can pull the atrium away from reading, even as the architecture brings new people through the door. Staff must direct sightseers, protect accessible routes, manage events inside the sphere, and keep the practical rooms calm. Here, spectacle is not the problem. Unmanaged spectacle is. The Eye gives reading a civic stage. The quieter measure is whether visitors continue past the photograph, choose a book, and stay. Chongqing changes the standard by which a city is judged. Flat ground is no longer the starting point. Concrete, rail, and steel can make several ground levels occupy one slope. I respect the nerve behind that work, yet scale alone cannot prove success. A city must remain clear at street level, usable under heavy crowds, and able to protect older streets and buildings. China has already settled whether it can build larger, higher, and farther. The harder test comes next. Can that power carry millions of ordinary lives without making movement more confusing or history easier to erase? This question reaches beyond one municipality. As nations push infrastructure into mountains, seas, and crowded skylines, Chongqing becomes a measure of the age. Engineering power judged not by spectacle, but by the daily life it supports. Follow this series as it tests the world's boldest infrastructure against one demanding standard. Not only what engineering can conquer, but how well daily life carries on within it.